Good morning and welcome to After GMS. We are live here on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page, and we are so glad to see some familiar faces and some new ones today. We have a lot of great talkers, but first the introductions. I'm Megan Malaris alongside meteorologist Christian Morgan.
Morning, everybody.
Are you ready to sweat it out today?
Yeah, are you? Are you?
I guess we have no choice, right?
There's no choice. The heat and humidity remain. The one difference today, though, is that we do have a better chance for a more active afternoon in terms of thunderstorms than we have earlier this week. Of course, as you know, the heat is really starting to rack up 11 days above average in the month of July. And look at all the 90s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 days have all been in the 90s this month. That makes it about 22 days on the year so far at 90. We average about 37 of those. Right now, as you look out over the Piedmont, we have plenty of cloud cover there. It was a partly cloudy sky early on this morning, and then clouds have been moving in from the west, of course, with this cluster of showers and storms that's starting to move over western North Carolina and in our North Carolina mountains right now. And at one point earlier this morning, there were actually some severe thunderstorms with this out in Tennessee. Now, most of this is going to get chopped up by our mountains, but anything that is able to survive the trip across the high terrain there will move into the triad by around mid-morning or midday. So we still could see a shower this morning, not totally ruling that out. But the bigger picture comes this afternoon. We have the heat, we have the humidity, and we have an approaching cold front, which acts as a trigger to really get us going in the afternoon, helps that air to rise, helps those storms to form. So I do expect there to be some scattered storms on radar for us to track this afternoon and this evening. Of course, the cold front gets by us tomorrow and then kind of fizzles out. It washes out across the Piedmont, and then it really starts to lift back to the north as warm air moves back in. So we never really get any relief with the front. It's just kind of a fake front, if you will. We actually get hotter as we go into the end of the work week and into your weekend. All of us in at least a level 1 risk for severe storms today. And in fact, some of our southern counties, Randolph County, Montgomery County, Davidson County, parts of Alamance County, and even the southern tip of Guilford County included in a level 2 risk for severe storms today. Again, mainly after 2 o'clock up until about 10. And at that point, I think most of anything that's out there should come to an end as we lose our daytime heating. Main concerns today would be for damaging wind gust and localized flash flooding. But as you know, we have a lot of heat energy, and these storms lately have also had a lot of frequent lightning in them as well. So that's something we'll keep an eye out for as well. Again, not everybody's going to get a storm. I'm not going to guarantee where exactly they're going to pop up. I do think the better chance is really from the triad and points to the south, but I can't totally rule out everybody at this point. So we'll keep an eye out again through about 10 o'clock for some strong, possibly severe thunderstorms. And of course, we'll pass along any warnings if they get issued today. Again, damaging winds, flash flooding, our main concerns. There is not a tornado risk with this today, just to kind of give you a little more peace of mind there. Weekend is going to be a scorcher, though. I can guarantee you that. By the time we go into your Friday, 93 tomorrow, 95 on Saturday, 96 on Sunday. Those feels like temperatures of close to 100 degrees over the weekend. And most of the weekend mainly staying dry. Just that 20% chance of a pop-up shower or storm on Saturday and Sunday. The temperatures do fall back a tad. Low 90s. We'll still hover there for the early part through the middle of next week, and the rain chances go up a bit more by Tuesday and Wednesday of the upcoming work week. So hot weekend, but not a bad weekend across the Piedmont as long as you have something to do to keep you cool.
Yeah, it's almost too hot to go sit by the pool, you
Yeah.
know, or do much outside. You've got to really watch the heat, really watch the sun, watch your water intake.
Yeah.
Don't want to play with these types of situations.
No, if you're going to be at the pool or maybe you're going to the lake or doing anything like that, if you're moving, it's fine. If you're in the water, it's fine. If you're just sitting, it is going to be, you know, dangerously hot.
It's important to watch what you're putting into your body, not even just with water, but as far as food too, which brings us to our first talker today. It is National Junk Food Day, ironically. We want to know, what is your snack of choice when you're maybe eating something you know is not the best for you? What's your weakness, so to say? Well, we give you a chance to chime in here on our live feed. Let's give you some background as to what experts even categorize as junk food. They are foods that contribute a lot of calories, but little nutritional value. Also food you tend to overeat, like chips, because you don't necessarily feel as full when you eat them. Many think junk food is just snacks or fast food, but even breakfast cereal can constitute that because it is technically low nutritional value, depending on what it is. Of course, Cheerios different from like Frosted Flakes. All right, but every now and then it's not bad to indulge. Remember, eat your fruits and veggies as your mama and your doctor always told you. All right, so we'll give you a few more moments to chime in here. We'll start the conversation. Christian, what is your junk food of choice?
I don't know. I think my ultimate weakness is ice cream in any way, shape, or form.
It's dairy.
Yeah, in a cup.
Calcium,
in a cone,
right?
In a milkshake form.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's vitamin D, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'll say. I think anything ice cream, although it's really hard to pass up Cheez-Its or Oreos with a Coke or with a cheer wine. It's just hard to pass that up.
Yeah, see, once you start adding all that other stuff, that's when it can become a little unhealthier. But, you know, you're still getting the vitamins in the ice cream. So I don't think that's that bad.
There's absolutely no nutritional value at all. The other thing I'm about to say, I don't crave it. But if I pass a Cookout, it is really hard not to turn in there and get some of the cheese bites.
Oh, those are so good.
With a cheer wine and that good crunchy ice that they have. Okay, I'm stopping.
Again, you could argue the dairy and the cheese in the cheese bites.
Yeah, but doesn't all the breading and the grease
fried
for
breading
the fryer
and the
kind
grease
of cancel it all out?
Oh, those are darn good. I forgot about those.
Oh, they're so good.
Okay, my weakness, I guess, would be a French fry. I really rarely turn down a French fry. Love any kind of fry. I chalk it up to the fact that it's potatoes, and so they're good for you in some way. Then when you dip it in a bunch of ketchup or barbecue sauce or ranch, you know, of course, it gets less and less healthy. But I'm a firm believer in anything in moderation. And that's really the approach we take to kids. And actually the advice I've read from certified dietitians and nutritional experts interested in pediatrics. They say, make sure that you don't present these items that are considered bad for you as such. Make them not these coveted items that they know they're not supposed to have. If you present it on the plate with anything else, or say even just matter of factly, okay, we're gonna eat our supper, we're also gonna eat dessert. Leave it at that. Normally, or eventually, the child will think, okay, this is just routine. I'm gonna eat a normal amount of everything on my plate. And then it doesn't become this desired thing that's off limits.
I think it kind of goes back to the age-old, you know, cookie jar phenomenon. You know, the cookie jar sitting on the kitchen table, don't open it, don't touch it. And it's one of those things, well, it's all, like you said, everything in moderation. So just have to be, you know, careful about it. Not like you're not supposed to have that, but maybe you already had one of those, so let's do something else, or maybe it's something a little healthier.
Like the more you're told not to eat something, the more you want it.
It's like retaliation.
The more you're told not to do something, usually the more you want to do it. Especially if you're a 2.5-year-old. Boy, let me tell you from personal experience.
I've been there, you'd have to ask my mama.
All right, let's see what some of you are saying here on our live feed. All right, we'll start with Scott. He said calories pile up. His favorite, coffee, nut, M&Ms. Very addicting. Peanut M&Ms are amazing. So are the pretzel M&Ms. If you haven't tried them, try them.
Peanut butter M&Ms right here.
Peanut butter?
Peanut butter M&Ms.
Those are good too. Bobby said donuts are his weakness. Krista agrees with you and said ice cream.
Oh yeah.
That begs the follow-up question. Who has the best ice cream around here? Does it matter? Scott said, added to his comment earlier, Belinda said, sea salt popcorn, maple nut goodies, which are hard to find now. Chips Ahoy cookies with butter pecan ice cream. You know, there's nothing better than a Chips Ahoy cookie or an Oreo dipped in milk.
Oh my gosh.
That's so good. And then you compensate for the
Now I'm getting
nutritional
hungry.
value of the cookie with the milk,
So
right?
now I'm getting hungry for probably the wrong things at this time of day.
Yeah. Bobby also noted that some of what we consider junk food is really just the portion size. He said some of what you get at restaurants are enough to feed 2 people.
Yeah.
I think more sometimes. I mean, America is infamous for its large portion sizes. You don't get if you go to someplace like Europe. They're normal portion sizes. But I do love some leftovers. I'm not complaining about that.
You know, the other thing too is I used to really crave candy. I don't crave candy as much as I used to, but I don't know if you remember these or not, but several years ago, Lifesavers came out with the cream saver. They had like a strawberry cream saver and an orange and cream saver.
Yep.
They were so good. And then they took them off the market for a while. Well, I was at Cracker Barrel on Sunday, and they have them again. They started making them again in bags. And so I got a bag of them, and I started to look at the nutritional value on them. And I was thinking, like, wow, how much sugar do these things have in them? And the way that they laid it all out, like a serving size of those were actually three Lifesavers. Yeah. And then in 3 Lifesavers, I think there were only like 9 grams of sugar. So it really wasn't that bad.
No.
So I didn't feel so bad about eating 2 of those.
Yeah, I loved the Jolly Ranchers when I was a kid. Ooh, pure sugar, but so good, especially those grape ones. All right, so Scott said Oreo milkshake at Cookout is 1,800 calories.
Wish you hadn't told me that, Scott.
You know, Scott, tastes good though.
It does taste good.
You feel a little sick after eating the whole thing, but that's my favorite.
You feel heavy after eating it, but yeah.
Yeah. Everything in moderation. I'll go back to what I said at the beginning. Super good. All right. Thanks so much for weighing in here. We do have some national headlines and then a final forecast, and we want to talk a little bit about that heat. So stick around and we'll answer some weather questions you might have as well. But let's start with this. Unfortunately, some sad news to get to. A 12-year-old in Thomasville is in critical condition after police say he got a hold of a family member's gun. It happened Tuesday afternoon at the boy's grandfather's house. Investigators say the grandfather was at work at the time of the shooting. The boy was rushed to the hospital by EMS. Police charged 59-year-old Victor Clampett with 1 count of failing to properly secure a firearm to protect a minor. Well, some Greensboro gas stations are under scrutiny after the North Carolina Department of Agriculture says they were selling gas diluted with water. One woman claims she got gas at a Shell station on Westgate City Boulevard and her car broke down just miles after filling up. Her mechanic told her there was water in her tank. The pump shut down for a period of time but are now back open. The State Department of Agriculture says the station did not intentionally add water to the gas. It could have come from excessive groundwater or fuel delivery during a rainstorm. A traffic alert for Winston-Salem drivers part of East 5th Street will close today for sewer main repairs. The city posted on its Facebook page saying a portion of the road between Jackson and Cameron Avenues from 9 to 5 will close. There will also be signs indicating the detours for drivers, so make sure you pay attention there and give yourself extra time. In political news, Vice President Kamala Harris will be in North Carolina today to discuss the White House's efforts to protect reproductive rights, of course, on the heels of the Roe v. Wade overturning. The Vice President also will discuss the administration's investments in affordable high-speed internet. This is the Vice President's 2nd visit in North Carolina in less than a year. The start of the school year is just around the corner. I know it's going fast this summer. That means families with school-age children are looking for glue sticks, colored pencils, backpacks, everything to gear up for a successful school year. But unfortunately, with inflation, a lot of families don't know how they will afford these items. So a school supply drive is now in place at the Greensboro Children's Museum. WFMY News' Denise McMiller has details.
Well, the Greensboro Children's Museum is hosting its first ever back-to-school supply drive. They have these signs up letting patrons know about their Donate to Educate supply drive as they come in. And right now, through August 30th, they are collecting supplies for students of all ages. So things like notebooks and pens and pencils. It's easy to donate. Before heading out to do some exploring at the museum with your little ones, grab a bag of supplies to take with you. Once you get here, drop them into the donation box in the lobby. I stopped by the museum yesterday, and here's a look at what they've collected so far. They're hoping to get enough supplies to give 20 families 2 bags of back-to-school supplies and a backpack.
Here at the museum, we really care about hands-on learning, but learning extends, of course, outside the museum. It extends out into the public, and it also is really important in the schools. And so without having the tools that you really need to be a successful student, you really can't. So not having those items is a problem and a detriment to students.
Now, if you'd like to help, you can snap a picture of your screen. These are some of the items they need most. Staff says they have not received any backpacks yet and are asking for new or lightly used school bags. Again, the Back to School supply drive runs through August 11th. Families in need can contact the museum. They plan to distribute items in mid-August.
All right, let's talk about that forecast one more time. Another hot and humid day. That's not changing. The one difference, though, is that we'll likely have a busier afternoon today with thunderstorms. Not everybody will get one. They'll be scattered, but the ones that do pop up will have a good opportunity to become strong or possibly even severe with some damaging winds, possibly some localized flash flooding as well. And most of these storms will also have a lot of frequent lightning in them, too. We got a cold front on the way, but the cold front, the words cold front are a little bit misleading here. It fizzles out before it really moves past us. And at that point, there's no relief. In fact, we actually just get hotter. There is a little bit of a dip in the humidity over the course of the weekend, but that really doesn't change a whole lot. Temperatures soaring into the mid-90s. We're at 95 on Saturday, 96 on Sunday. Those feels like temperatures in the upper 90s, close to 100 both those days. And then we hover in the low 90s heading into next week with the storm chance on the increase again, especially by Tuesday and Wednesday. But the weekend looks to stay mainly dry, Meg.
So it is hot, but technically we are not in that heat wave that is gripping much of the country. Why is that? What makes us different?
So a lot of the heat wave terminology depends on, you know, if you get super hot and stay there for a while. So if we were to go, you know, from 92, 93 where we are today and tomorrow, and then to 97, 98 and kind of hang out there for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, that would be what we would constitute as a heat wave. Really just, you know, excessively hot for a longer extended period of time. So, you know, one day if we bump up to 95, 96 really doesn't constitute a heat wave, quote unquote. And, you know, we talk a lot at this time of the year about heat advisories and heat warnings and that kind of thing. You know, we have heat advisories to the east of us today. Feels like temperatures around 105. But, you know, over the course of the weekend, we may have feels like temperatures 100 and 102. And even though that's not really in that criteria for those warnings or, you know, advisories or products from the National Weather Service, you know, bottom line, it's hot. You know, so you have to be extremely careful if you're going to be outside this weekend.
Yeah, especially those afternoon hours where the sun is most intense.
Yeah, I had a lot of questions earlier, you know, even though we're forecasting 95 and 96 for the weekend, how come the heat advisories aren't as likely? And, you know, the one thing I mentioned, the one thing we will get behind the front is a little less humidity. So feels like temperatures will stay around 100. I know, like stay around 100, but they won't exceed that criteria for us to get heat warnings and heat advisories. You know, even without that, again, I just stress the fact that you got to be careful and you got to be cautious about what you're doing if you're going to be outside this weekend.
Okay. All right. Good words of wisdom from our expert here. And we will keep you up to speed on everything that changes in our forecast and our news headlines on WFMY News 2 at noon, which we'll join you for in a few hours from now. So, all right, thanks for being part of our conversation. We do this every weekday at 7:45 on the News 2 Facebook page. Get out there and get to it.
See you.